It has been another wild ride for Magic the Gathering this week. First, we have to cover what's going on with Lord of the Rings collector boxes and the roller coaster ride we're seeing. Then we're going to cover a little bit of what's happening on the secondary market for Lord of the Rings singles. And of course, as this relates to the reserve list and the financial troubles we're seeing, this has got to be a lot to cover. And you know what? We're going to get through it together. This may end up being one of those moments in time where you say, where were you when the One Ring was found, right? Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today. And that appears like it's a crazy time in Magic. This is one of those moments. Because when that One Ring was found, all these pieces of the puzzle started kind of fitting together, but so many things fell apart. The panic we saw on the secondary market, I did a video on, the Friday night when the ring was found. And I said, we're going to lose 10, 15% tops. It's going to be a slow decline. But it wasn't. It just cratered right off a cliff with people panic selling to get out. The boxes dropped up to 20-something% to those high 400s all the way down to 370 for a while there on things like TCG Player. But it didn't hold that way, did it? The market realized that was total insanity and it snapped itself out of it, recovered, but there's still a lot of people who sold their boxes super cheap. Either they panicked and just said, I need the money now, things are just going to crater off a cliff, but it didn't. The market turned around, boxes climbed to back around the 390s to early 400 level. There's still, of course, a decrease in price overall. Of course, the One Ring's been found, but the sell-through rate is still phenomenal. Okay, in the last couple of days, you're still talking sealed boxes over $250,000 in sales that I could track for sealed product. That's locally as well as TCG Player, a few other sources I have. $250,000 in a couple of days for sealed product, and that's after people knew the One Ring was found. It shows me there's still belief in the product. But there are things happening with this product that need to be fleshed out for people. In the secondary market for the Rings of Power, they are not selling anymore. Okay, they're kind of at a standstill, and now stores that have them are trying to clear them out. And I've noticed the prices decreasing as we go. So every few days they knock off $100 or $200, trying to find the new market, trying to find where the actual value of these things are. Not the FOMO, where everyone's freaking out saying I gotta have it, but now the realistic market saying who are the actual collectors. Did the speculators show up and then get run out of town? What happened after that? Because that's the moment where you're what's going on? And we need that moment. We need that moment to chase out the people who are just here for some cash. You got to get the long-term investors where do they think the market is, where the actual players feel the singles market is. Because that's the other portion of this is the singles. There's still a huge glut of singles in the secondary market and they're readily available. They're everywhere. Now, some of these cards have started to find homes in the secondary market. They started to find deck construction ideas and brewing that people just say, I got to have 4 of this. I want to have 8 of these. I want to have... So it is starting to move. The sales on my top 10 this weekend proved there are thousands and thousands of sales happening every couple of days. It's still unlike anything we've seen, and it shows there is a real appetite for Lord of the Rings cards and Lord of the Rings as a set. That's great for everyone in the market who just wants to move cards, have a good time, build with it, and enjoy the cheap prices. I still think some of these cards are going to start creeping up, like Orcish Bowmaster and stuff kind of leveling off there. A lot of sales for the mana base from this set. It just shows some of these cards that are $1 or $2 are probably going to slowly drift upwards to around the $5, $6 level. It may not seem like a massive increase, but it's still overall a huge increase of 100 to 200% over a period of time in the next 90 days. Expect a drifting up as product sales and openings really start to taper off now that the One Ring's been found. Keep that in mind in the singles market. If it's cards you want, go after them. Enjoy the cheap prices. If you're speculating, I still don't think it's the best idea right now. I think it's one of those things where the market's not ready to have somebody sit on thousands of copies of a card that may move nowhere, and then you're just stuck with it. Play it smart, be overly cautious, and you'll probably do okay with what we think is happening in that marketplace. Going forward with the sealed boxes, I think we're going to see the sell-through rates are going to stay pretty consistent, but they are going to start tapering off. I noticed here on the Monday, sales are a little bit lower. Local stores, although most are sold out now, I'll be honest, all my local guys I deal with across here, Ontario, the States, they are really kind of like drying up. So any of those small stores I deal with, they're already sold out. Nothing's going on there. But when we talk about the bigger stores that still have some, they've already actually decreased prices. As soon as that one ring was found, people knocked 30, 40 bucks off what they were charging. So those boxes that did that price hike a week ago, and they added like 50, 60 bucks a box, they've already started pulling back and bringing that box back down in price. It just shows, although the prices were a little overinflated because of the FOMO, now that the store realizes there's no more FOMO, they're going to bring things down because they still need to move those boxes. They still need to sell that product, and they've got to put it at a more attractive price. So they took a little extra slice of pie, put a little cherry on top when they could, and now they got to draw things back to more realistic, sale price where they think they can still move the product. Same as singles. It's going to find its place. It's just going to take time. Now, for the second half here, this is what I find most interesting. When you have those rings of power, the Elven rings, human rings, some of these surge foils, when they are in the collector's corner of like LGS shops, they have like a website, and you look in their collector corner of high-end cards, and these things are higher. Some of these cards are higher than Power 9 cards. That's when something's not right, okay? When you think of a new card with created wealth, so a surge foil, they just made it now, Wizard of the Coast just put this out. It has no history, no provenance behind it, or the value of the card. It's still just a soul ring, right? It's a soul ring. It's a fancy soul ring, but it's a soul ring. It's a Kaladesh Invention soul ring. It's still just a soul ring. Do you want to have that soul ring or an alpha or beta unlimited that costs 1/20th the price of these fancy ones? You can get an unlimited soul ring near mint for like 100 and change, right? You can get a beta one for like 500 bucks. Like things are not, the market is not acting rationally right now in terms of how they're looking at older vintage cards. Now, for those who didn't know, when you get to antique level, an antique card, that's like 100 years old, okay? Magic cards, though, are going to be 30, 40, 50 years. Before you know it, these cards are really going to start aging. So the old cards you have, I still recommend holding on to them just because of the history behind these cards. As the game continues to evolve and age, you're going to get to that point where they really are truly museum quality pieces, and how many of these things are really going to survive the next 50, 60 years. As collections change hands, things become lost to antiquity, you never know what's going to happen. So what's happening in that secondary market, when you see, I saw a Library of Alexandria for like $1,000, moderately played. Canadian, which is like 700 and change US, it's a Library of Alexandria, right? When you see a Bazaar Baghdad going for the same price as a Ring of Power, the human one, and then they don't match up to the same level. Or you could see an Elven Ring of Power that costs more than a Mox, near mint unlimited. This is where my mind just can't quite equate it out, and a lot of you feel the same way. I got those emails with all those questions, guys, and I looked at the stats. I followed the sell-through rates. I tracked as much as I could, and no, it just doesn't look normal right now, but that's great for everyone. Because if nobody's paying attention to old cards that you want, you get to pick them up. Good for you. If you're a person who's chasing that stuff, don't haggle like this isn't fair. Just pick up the cards you want. Enjoy the cheap price. When I saw dual lands for like $200 Canadian this week, it blew my mind. Yeah, they're heavily played. I don't care. They're $200. $200 for a card you're never going to have to sell, and you need to add to those Commander decks, Vintage, Legacy buildups. It's amazing. When you see cards like anything like from a Rainbow Veil, from a Lotus Veil being like $20 near mint at face-to-face, that just blows my mind to think we've come to that point where newer cards are more expensive than older cards. A reserve list card costs less than a new card that is being devalued by the day because the market hasn't found the equal price point yet. This is the market we live in. This is the craziness, that once-in-a-lifetime event. And I know I'm saying that once in a lifetime. It could come around to be a 2 or 3 time lifetime event. I don't know. But at the moment, I've just never seen new cards cost as much as they do, while old reserve list cards cost as little as they do. And I mean, obviously, players who want to buy this stuff are going to look where they can play in the formats. Like, you may not be a Vintage Legacy player, so you're going to look for the Commander cards that fit into Commander decks. But they're still at like half the price or less. And some of these things on sale right now, because some of these LGS are trying to make room for more cash flow, they're just so cheap. It blows my mind. Somebody was trading in a Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale Italian. They got like $990 trade-in value, okay? Because they just had to unload the car. They wanted money to move into other things. Sorry, I said trade-in value, that was cash. All right, $990 cash from one of the stores. That stuff is brutal. Another store traded like, they gave them like less than $2,000 for an English Tabernacle. This is just the world we're living in. And it just blows my mind to think this is what we're thinking about right now. We're saying, I really need that ring of power, but you could get a Mox for the same price. Or you could get like 15 beat up dual lands. Like, wow. I don't know, guys. This just seems so surreal to me. And again, people do what they want to do. The market's going to react the way it wants to react. It doesn't care what you think at home. It doesn't care what I think. I'm just reporting on what we see. And I see amazing deals everywhere because the new cards are so expensive. The flashiness has drawn all of the money away from the reserve list that people who want to move their reserve list cards have to sell at a massive discount. And for those few people still looking in the reserve list, those concentrated efforts are that much easier to get your hands on this stuff. I mean, I was still surprised by the surge of sales we saw in the top 10 reserve list edition on Sunday. I was really surprised to see as many sales as we did, and in cards I didn't expect, like Tithe, blew my mind. But it's because they're $20. When you can get a Thawing Glaciers near mint from face to face for $20, you know it's just a crazy world we live in. So thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for being here today. Let me know how it's going where you are right now, and let me know what you're seeing in the marketplaces in your local towns. Where I want to see this conversation grow. You got to get in here and join this world community of collaboration and comments in the comment section. I got to know what's happening. You guys can share it with me because you're all over the place. Thanks again for being here. Thanks for allowing me to entertain you guys each and every day. It's amazing to be here in the world of Magic the Gathering. And yeah, the One Ring gets found and everything just turns upside down, man. Crazy stuff. Thanks a lot for hanging out. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another video. Enjoy your day, and don't forget, bring a friend to Magic. Where would these videos be without the support of the community around me? Thanks again to all my fantastic patrons and YouTube membership members who support the daily upload of this content each and every day. Without you, it'd be a totally different world for the Mox, man. So thanks again, everyone. Welcome back, guys. Yep, we got the superhero mug going for coffee. And yeah, wow. Some of the sales I'm seeing, crazy. I may have overspent, put it that way. How can I not pass up that stuff for the 20K party? Ridiculous. Anyway, interesting stuff to see happen. But when you have newer cards costing more than reserve list cards, the market will correct itself at some point. It's either going to ignore old cards like they don't exist, too nostalgic, too old, fuddy-duddy cards, or the market's going to realize that there's no way a new Surge Foil should cost more than an Underground Sea. Or a newer card, there's no way it should cost as much. Like one of those Rings of Power should not cost more than a Mox. Or 3 Library of Alexandrias. Or 8 Tabernacle Pendrell Vales. Crazy stuff. This is, I keep saying crazy stuff, but I can't help myself. It seems like it shouldn't be possible. I never thought I'd see this happening. The prices the way they are, and still falling, by the way. Reserve list prices are still going down. Crazy. But if you made it this far, you got to put a boomstick in the comments section. People forget that there's a reason I asked for comments to be a certain way. You guys probably remember. The reason I ask you to put a comment is because sometimes there's things associated with that come around at the party time. Right? I know who puts the comment in. It gets recorded. If I say Necronomicon, Boomstick, people forget. But as we get closer and as new subscribers join and help support this channel and we get closer to 20,000, it becomes more relevant. People forget. Anyway, I'm going to go back to my coffee. Hope you guys are having an awesome one. Yeah, I'm still up north. I'm still at my other property because we have family and stuff here. I'm not even in my normal filming spot. This is like really, I'm against a wall. It's really weird right now because my normal space has been taken over by young adults. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Oh, did anyone see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny? Can you please put it in the comment section if it was good or not? I don't want any spoilers given away. Was it good? Give me a scale of 1 to 10, how good it was. I just want to know. It may help me. You guys' opinions matter more than critics. All right? Thanks, guys. I'll see you soon.